You know, the album to me is like a complete departure from everything we know about these songs. I mean, where did the idea first come from for you to kind of deconstruct them in this way?
Well, screwing around with police songs began years ago when I was making a film of the Super 8 film that I had shot of the band. You know, at a certain point, as soon as I had some disposable income, I got myself a movie camera and just hosed down everything that happened because I wanted to keep it, scrape the world off and stuff it into my suitcase to play with later. And so I shot everything from the motels all the way through to the stadiums. And since it was Super 8 footage, I had to put it away and forget about it because you can't cut it. There's no negative, so you're scratched every time you look at it. So I put it away in shoe boxes. Then they invented computers. And when they invented computers, I could then digitize that footage and play with it till the cows come home. So I made a movie which went to Sundance and became an actual thing called Everyone Stares, the home movie from hell. And the score for it, the music had to be police music, obviously, but I wanted to use alternative police music, you know. So I went in, found jams, improvisations we did on stage, lost recordings from the studio, and various police-ish elements, and used them to score the film. And they're kind of cool tracks, you know, versions of everything, and I call them derangements. Meanwhile, my 20 years before the mast as a hired gun, flinty-eyed, flinty-eared film composer gave me an involuntary education in orchestra, which was
Yeah.
one of the great benefits of being a hired gun, was that you have to go places that an artist would never voluntarily go. I had to go because the boss man told me to. Francis Coppola turns around and says, "We need strings." I got to figure out strings. So
Yeah.
that led to a life with orchestra. And I've been playing concerts with orchestras around the world, you know, concerti that were commissioned by the Royal Liverpool Commission to Peace, the Dallas Symphony, and so on, as well as film scores. But I would occasionally drop in a police tune, an obscure one that I wrote. And they would have such an impact that the penny dropped. And I thought, how about if? Just think what would happen if I put in some hits. And so I started going into the police hits, the actual songs that people are more familiar with, and started playing around with them and using their derangements, the versions that I had used for the film, orchestrating those versions. So what we end up with is police songs. You'll recognize them mostly. I do play Hide the Hit occasionally,
Yeah.
but we do get to the big hits that you all know.
Yeah.
And the power of these songs is that people know them, which makes them very, very impactful for the show. People love it. You know the song,
Yeah.
but you hear all these other things that are very Andy-ish, very Sting-ish.
Different kind of levels and layers. I mean, it's quite, and for me as an artist as well, it's quite a scary and intimidating thing to do at some point. I mean, because we both know there's a certain element that are like have fans hate it nothing more than when you kind of like mess with the song and stuff like that. Even though for you it's kind of been a long journey. I mean, did you have?
Even if it's you doing it.
Yeah, even if you exactly. I mean, you know, do you have like this goring thing about some of the songs that you like when you wrote them, or
Well,
were you kind of always feeling like, you know, because for me, like when I write a song, sometimes it's just a quick, very fast process, you know. But in this way, you had to really go back and do a slow process, slow it down analytically, and really deduce what's going on.
well, I certainly spent more time with the orchestration than Sting did writing the song. But
Yeah,
then again, that genius of his, the genius, as you know, writing songs, the genius part happens in a flash.
in a flash.
The
Yeah,
really cool part, you know, the best part just comes to you suddenly. And making rock music or any kind of music that comes out of speakers, it's relatively easy because you twiddle with it until you like it. Um, but with writing orchestral music, you have to put it on the page, and there I don't hear anything. I'm just imagining what the woodwinds are going to sound like, what the brass are going to sound like against the strings, and so it takes a lot more brain power to think it out. But I was blessed with a certain impunity here, since I sort of identify with the songs, feel a certain ownership of them, which liberated me to mess with them. They were not broken, but that won't stop me from fixing them.
I mean it's quite a kind of like radical kind of deconstruction of the songs. I mean, it's like, you know, for me, it's kind of like there's pieces in there, as you said, there's elements in there that come in and out. And as you're saying, you have the authority because, you know, it's your band and stuff like that. I mean, were there things about the songs that you were like, you know, that's quite great the way that that maneuver changed or that transition changed in this song? And then were there parts you were like, man, that bit sucks, why did we do that? You know, are you able to kind of like, because you're kind of like deconstructing your songs, and so there must have been things that just jumped out of you and things that were like, ooh.
Well, we fought like hell when we were making the songs, but at the end of the day, we're all kind of satisfied with how they turned out, you know.
Yeah.
I'd recorded the drums for all those songs. For the last 3 albums, I recorded the drums about 20 minutes after hearing the song for the first time.
Wow.
And we would just, you know, I would watch Sting showing Andy the chords, and I'm thinking up a rhythm while they're working. And then they say, okay, let's do a take. And we'd do a take, maybe a second and a third take, but we'd usually end up with the second take. And then I'm stuck with that for the rest of my life, and so is the world.
That astonishes me. That actually astonishes me that you wrote those songs literally and then just recorded them, because the drumming on those songs is so intricate. You know, there's the way that you're doing certain changes, the way the groove changes, the ups and the downs. You just did that off the fly in 20 minutes.
Off the fly. They got to do their guitars, basses, vocals, and everything else for the next 2 months till the cows came home. But I'm there listening to all of the imperfections, you know, that I'm stuck with.
You're trying to work it out.
You know, when we went out on tour, I figured out how to get from the chorus back down to the verse, all that stuff, the ergonomics of it.
Yeah.
And much better. Let's go record the album again. But you know what? Hang on a second. What it lost in exactitude, I think it gained in spontaneous creativity. And I think you can hear that zing, that exploratory feel, which gives it an X factor.
The magic. Yeah, a little magical touch there. Wow. I mean, back in those days when you were writing those songs, I mean, it just must have just gone so fast and just been such a, like, imagine being on a steam train going downhill at full speed.
Well, yes, except that the train was going up, but I get your, but yes, that's right. It was a train.
Well,
it was a rocket ship that was taking off.
If you're going up, you've got gravity, you're going to be slower. For me, it's like going downhill because it's so fast. But
yeah.
When I say downhill, I don't mean metaphorically.
Yes.
I mean, like,
the crash came later.
Yeah, exactly. I'm from Brixton, so I have to, without being too sycophantic, I have to credit you with kind of getting me out of my reggae Brixton and into a fresh Brixton, because my granddad had a nightclub in Brixton, 30 Effra Road. And so, you know, I grew up with like reggae, and then more reggae. And then when I kind of got to a little bit older, I discovered the Police, but it was reggae, but with a different twist and a different touch, because it had a completely different attitude, you know? And so following you guys and kind of got me out of the kind of reggae that I was in and took me on a path to a whole new world. So I just wanted to tell you that because
oh shucks. Well, it was reggae adjacent.
Reggae, yeah.
We didn't play correct reggae, and there's a reason for that. The reason is because my secret sauce actually doesn't come from the West Indies. It comes from Lebanon, from the Arab world. And it's just it's just a coincidence that the building blocks of reggae, where you hit the 3 of the bar hard and you dodge 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, nothing, 2, 3, 4, is actually the same architecture as Arabic music, which emphasizes the 3rd beat of the bar, and you hide the 1. 2, 3, 4, nothing, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And so when Don Letts, mainly, started playing heavy dub in the punk clubs, because that's all they had for chill. I mean, there's no such thing as chill punk, but even glue sniffing requires a respite. And so Don Letts started playing really heavy dub, and it was chill, but it was also suitably hostile, suitably angry, and suitably dark. And it had that, you know, so it was the perfect antidote to too much punkorama. And so all the punk rockers in all those clubs started hearing that and thinking, well, what's that? How are they doing that? Let's do that. And I think we would have to credit the Clash as the first skinny white English musicians to give it a go. And but Topper Heaton, who, like I did, listened to it and earballed and said, what? Wait a minute, he's doing the snare drum and the kick together on 3. how's that possible? I had my secret sauce, which was that Arabic music, which it just came really naturally to me to turn the beat
Yeah.
backwards like that. And it wasn't necessarily, it was very reggae inspired. And for Sting and Andy, they were listening to Bob Marley,
Yeah.
Peter Tosh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Burning Spear.
Yeah. That's who I grew up with,
Yeah.
and all
And
that stuff.
meanwhile, unbeknownst to
Stevie
them, I was
Wonder
playing some Arabic stuff.
on a slide.
Yeah.
They thought you were playing reggae the whole time, but you were playing Arabic stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yalla Latif.
That's great. This is a bit of a weird question, but like, why are you a drummer in some ways? What do you have in you that just makes you want to bash stuff? Because I know you're a multi-instrumentalist, you play lots of different things. But why did the drums come first? What was that initial inspiration that made you want to go,
to bang
with your
things.
hands and move all parts? It's a very physical thing, isn't it? To kind of bash things around and make rhythms and melody out of it.
Without getting too deep into the psychobabble, I was a undernourished late developer. All my friends had hair in their chest, their voice, they're all like turning into men, where I was still 12, a little pipsqueak. But then I banged on a drum, and suddenly I became an 800-pound silverback motherfucker swinging through the trees. God damn it. Instant masculinity,
it,
just banging, making a big noise.
it just brought the man out in you.
And then soon after, I was playing with the American high school band at the British Embassy Beach Club, as it happens. And I'm playing, and there's Janet McRoberts, all 15 years old of her, dancing to my groove. I was playing James Brown. And just having that effect for a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old woman to me, to be moving her with my groove is quite potent stuff.
Mm, it is. I can imagine those first kind of like going to gigs and seeing people kind of react to what you're doing and what you're playing.
I remember hearing that afternoon at the beach club, two 15-year-old girls, way beyond my wildest dreams, these unattainable princesses of adulthood. And they're talking about the Black Knights, which is the band. Hey, they got a new drummer, and it's Ian Copeland's kid brother. He has a brother? And they're, wow, is he cool like Ian is? And there am I listening to these people talking about me. And that was, and they were filling their image of Ian's kid brother with all kinds of fantasy of how cool he must be. I was not cool at all, but watching them
But they didn't
fill
know.
in the blanks in
Yeah.
such a way, that also was
Just
very inspiring.
Just fake it till we make it.
Yeah.
In those beginning early days. I mean, now you've done the songs in this way, I guess there's, is there ever any going back to the way that they were for you? I mean, I think what the music has is like a completely deconstructed, fresh attitude to them. And I think is there any going back?
Probably not, because they are what they are. Those drum parts that I did in 20 minutes are written in granite. That's what they are. And, I wouldn't, I did mess them up pretty bad with my, and by the way, I've got the police versions of these orchestral derangements. I got the versions of the same derangements with Andy and Sting on guitar and vocals and everything. But now
cool.
I'm performing it with a big orchestra, three soul sisters on the mic, which is pretty much the only way you can replace Sting. Is with,
well, it's got quite a high range, right? So
is with the Supremes, or the the Vandellas or the Chiffons or the Ronettes, and I've become a huge fan of those girl groups. Okay, your Four Tops as well, but that whole genre I've become obsessed with after working with these women who just take it to another level. And the only way to replace Andy Summers is with a big bad orchestra, of course, because that guy was a one-man orchestra with those fingers. I'm sure he had 11 fingers.
Yeah. So what are the gigs like then? Because, I mean, is it kind of huge? It's like a huge orchestra?
Well, not a massive orchestra.
Screens, or is it more just kind of music-based?
It's music, no screens. Just the orchestra, kind of medium-sized orchestra. The Novella Orchestra, to be exact. And the ladies on the mic, I got guitar and bass, but I'm banging stuff in my usual style. And it's a fun show. It's a very emotional show, because those songs have baggage, emotional baggage. People were hired, fired, fell in love, fell out of love, whether they're even police fans or not, those
Yeah.
songs are rammed down their ears on the radio. And so the songs have a lot of emotional baggage. And when we hit
Yeah.
into King of Pain or, Don't Stand So Close to Me, there's a real ripple. Like people recognize it, Mind you, I do kind of hide the hit for a minute. There's a little bit of a dance there. But as soon as they recognize it, you can feel that emotional way.
They just go mad. Yeah. There's like a release.
Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful. And you've got a book.
Yes.
You got a book that we can order online, The Police Diaries. I mean, there's so much stuff you're doing. I mean, when do you get the time to all this stuff? The book comes out October 23, The Police Diaries. And what's that? Tell me about the book. Is that just like the early days or stories that people know or stories that people don't know and how you came together? Or is it just more about you and is it about your life?
Well, it's the diaries.
Tell me a little bit more about the book.
It's diaries, which makes it pretty personal.
Is it the actual diaries you took?
Yeah, they're there on the page. You can see my bad handwriting and even worse spelling, because I managed the band as well.
Yeah.
And so I have my manifesto that I wrote before even calling Sting, and I've got the receipts for the trucks and everything, and how much we got paid, how many people showed up, how we did. I gave us a little out of 5-star rating. I was pretty lenient critic. Because bands are like that. You know what it's like in a band. We kicked our ass tonight.
Yeah, we smashed
blew us away.
Yeah, nobody touched us.
We killed us. No, but it's also it's the starving years. I got my movie camera and did the stadium stuff, the big stuff. But this is the hungry part. Before we got anywhere, before Sting had written any of those big songs, they were my songs. They were my crap. Basically a bass line with yelling, so that we could fit into the punk scene.
Yeah.
But we bonded anyway. Sting and I just knew we were in the right company, and we became quite a tight rhythm section. People would hire us, and that's how we kind of made a living, was by doing sessions as a rhythm section. And it was on one such rhythm session that we ran into the legendary triple scale super guitarist known as Andy Summers.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like Andy Summers discovered us, and he told long story short, he told me that we need him and that he accepts. And he was right.
Accepted.
We did need him, because if Andy hadn't joined, I would have lost Stingo for sure. Because he was getting very frustrated by these simple material. Then he had more music busting out of him, and then Andy came along. And first I said, Sting, we can't afford him. Stop dreaming. I could indulge in his fantasy because I knew it would never happen. Until Andy turns around and says, "Yeah, you guys have got something, but you need me in the band, and I accept." And I had to tell him, look, we don't have any record company. It's me. I'm the record company. We don't have any I'm the management. We do have roadies. That's you. Just because I thought he would, I didn't believe that he would stick with it. I mean, he was out of his mind. And I asked him about this recently. I said, dude, what were you thinking? Joining two fake punks in a band going nowhere that had not yet written Roxanne or Message in a Bottle or any of those songs. What were you thinking? And he said, I don't know, mate. I should have stuck with Neil Sedaka.
Thank God he didn't, eh?
Really?
I got a friend of do you remember a guy called Jeremy Lascelles?
Totally remember Jeremy Lascelles.
Okay,
the
cool.
15th Earl of something or other. He's probably 20th in line to the throne now.
I know. He's like he hates it. He's our new manager because our manager retired, and he's actually our old publisher from the very, very early days, and now he's our actually new manager. So it's in my diary that I was interviewing. He said to say hello.
Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah, he's very posh. He's posh, but he's hiding it.
Yeah, we know his secret, don't we?
We all know his secret. Yes. You got to tell me a Jeremy Lascelles story.
Yeah, here's your Jeremy Lascelles story. So he's our tour manager, and we're Curved Air. We're a prog rock band at the driveling end of the prog rock scene. And we're driving home from Sheffield or somewhere. He said, hey, look, let's stop by my parents' place. You might get a kick out of it. Okay, all right. Can we get lunch there or something? Sure. And so we pull in, we go through a gate, and we're driving on. I said, well, when are we going to get to your parents' place? He said, well, we've been there for 10 minutes as we're driving across the estate. Yeah. And we come around the corner, and there's this huge, magnificent, Downton Abbey. And, that's the old family pile.
Yeah.
And his older brother, who played guitar in a band that supported Curved Air, was in line to the title I don't know whether I think he was an earl, their dad.
Yeah.
But they're in the line of succession to the throne,
It's
probably way
hilarious.
down. He said every new birth, they go down
They
a
go
step.
down,
So
yeah,
they're
they
probably.
further and further away. Yeah. I know.
But Germany is a blue blood by birth, but a blue blood also just by class of personality,
Yeah.
of wit. He's just a first-rate human being, regardless of where he came from.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's actually responsible for the very initial success of Skunk Anansie because our record company at the time didn't want to do a video for twice, for Weak As I Am, and then again for Headism, the two biggest singles we've ever had. And Jeremy stepped in and said, I'll pay for it, I'll do it. If they won't pay for it, I'll pay for it. And it kind of embarrassed him into doing it. So it's gone full circle. He's kind of responsible for the success of Skunk Anansie, and now he's managing Skunk Anansie.
Well, I'm very glad for you
circuit.
that you've got somebody like that on the job.
Yeah. Yeah. Worst language ever. Love it.
Oh, really? Well, that language sounds particularly exquisite, issuing from royal lips.
From royal lips, from
Yes.
royal blood, yes.
It just has a certain panache. All the F-bombs,
Yes,
you know,
when you
with a plum. F-bomb with a plum is way cool.
He puts them in like, you know, can you pass the motherfucking butter?
Yeah.
It's like, or you could just pass the butter.
Oh, bloody buggering hell.
Bloody buggering hell. Listen, on that note, I'm going to let you go because I know
Yeah, on that very high note.
It's always the low notes are always the best ones.
Yeah.
The high notes. And you interviewed my friend Honey Dijon.
Yes, just this morning.
So she says hi. Yes, she says hi. Listen, I'm going to go. I'm going to let you go. This has been amazing. And I wish you lots of luck with the gigs. I'm going to try and get down.
Cool.
Okay. And you're actually one of my favourite people, one of my favourite bands ever.
Ah, shucks.
So thank you for inspiring a little black girl from Brixton.
Ah, shucks. Well, thank you so much.
Pops. My pleasure. Have a good day. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Take care now.